Like imagine going from a ninja right now to a katana. That is sick. The transition, the character development. Parang siyang RPG. First class mo is ninja. Tapos second class mo samurai bigla. Alright guys, second vlog, and wow, that guy was in a hurry. So today I decided that I'm gonna get a massage with Ben, and my body needs this. Sobrang sakit na ng katawan ko. So while we're on the bike, let's talk a little bit about my history. Not much of a history riding a motorcycle, and my first ever motorcycle was a scooter. So the first bike I ever bought was the Suzuki Bergman Street 125. So I think that came out mid-pandemic, or a little bit after the pandemic. And yun yung first bike ko. At the time, my license only allowed me to use automatic motorcycles, automatic scooters. So yun lang yung nakuha ko. And I figured, if I'm gonna learn how to ride on the road, might as well do it without having to, think too much about gearing, switching gears, and how to use a manual. So I was okay with that. I had that for about 8 months. 8 months? 9 months. Basta less than a year. I got a lot of practice kasi nakaakyat ako ng Marilaki. Marami akong kasama nun, and naiwan ako kasi it's not really a performance bike, it's a comfort bike. So they were all ahead of me, but no injuries. I have never gotten into an accident really, and yeah. But what it was good for was it had lots of space. What I loved about the Suzuki Bergman was the fact that it's a mini maxi scoot. So if you're not familiar what a maxi scooter is, yung mga NMAX, mga PCX that have a lot of storage. Like we have front compartments, we have good storage sa ilalim ng bike. Sometimes you can even fit like 2 helmets in there, which is cool. The Bergman didn't have as much space as those bigger main maxi scooters, but it had enough space for me to carry around like vlogging gear. At the time I was shooting like tech reviews and stuff. Yeah. So it was good for what I was using for at the time, and I got lots of practice with that. After that, I was able to save up for a Kawasaki Bajaj Dominar 400. So diretso ako naga 400cc bike. But before, I actually bought the bike first before I had my license updated to be able to ride manual motorcycles. So I had to take some lessons first, and I had to learn how to use it so that I don't get injured or get into an accident. That's my biggest advice. You really gotta take some lessons, take a course, because YouTube just won't do when it comes to riding a motorcycle. You really need to get some experience on a bike to learn how to use it. What is this guy's problem? He's not even in the right lane. See, this guy's like messed up about it, the one in front of me. So eventually, when I got my license updated to be able to ride a manual, yeah, I was able to learn on the Dominar 400. The thing I loved about it was, it's a 400cc bike. The good thing about 400cc bikes is they're considered big bikes here. So that means you can ride on the expressway, S-Lex, N-Lex. So anything below that, you can't enter the S-Lex or N-Lex. You can't get an RFID. So that's why I got it, because I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna be able to go on rides with some friends, go out of town. And during the 6 or 7 months that I had the bike, never ever ako pumasok ng expressway, S-Lex or N-Lex. Well, good thing and bad thing about it is it's such a heavy bike for a 400cc one, so parang baptism by fire yun. Sobrang hirap i-park, lalo na if you park like on a slope going down and you're facing downward. Oh my god, you're gonna have a hell of a time trying to get that out of the parking lot. Yeah, you might actually need help. It's so heavy, and hindi siya fun to use kapag singitan or sa traffic kasi, again, it's a heavy bike. I think it's close to 200 kilograms. I switched out the headlight because at the time I thought, hey, maybe I want it to look like a classic motorcycle with those round headlights and a small windshield. So that's what I did. I was really happy with how it looked. A lot of people actually, it was actually a head turner. A lot of people asked me about it on the road. Like they would stop beside me, ask me about it. And yeah, it was a cool bike while I had it. I actually lent it to Cha for a shoot. Yung shoot niya na may motorcycle siya. Eventually I sold that bike because again it was too heavy, and honestly the kind of bike that I've always wanted, like my dream bike, has always been a sports bike, like yung mga R6, Ninja. But yeah, those are the kinds of bikes that I really like. I don't really mind so much the aggressive position. You gotta lean forward a little bit. I kind of like that. It feels cool. I guess it's a little bit more aerodynamic. Correct me if I'm wrong. And generally, I just think that sports bikes look really cool. Like, that's my opinion. Different people like different types of bikes. Like yung sa Tokyo Revengers, halos sa lahat sa kanila is like classic bikes. And at the time when I had the Dominar, sobrang addict ako sa Tokyo Revengers. That's actually when I had my Kazutora for the first time. And then di ba nagpark ako dun sa harap ng MOA, ng SMX. And then I had some pictures with people, had the shoot. So yeah. But you know, again, my heart was in getting a sports motorcycle. And after yun, 8 or 6 months, 7 months, I sold it and bought this one on the same day, actually. And at the time, I was already looking at another motorcycle to buy. This one, the one I'm using right now, the Kawasaki Ninja 400. The difference between that one and this one is that one had a one cylinder, single cylinder, and this one has a parallel twin, 2 cylinders. And it means that the bike has different performance. I think it's, you know, generally the performance is faster, it's more powerful, and it sounds different. And I like the sound of this one a lot more. It had all these perks and freebies too. Oh, that's a hole right there. It had all these perks and freebies too. Like it already had RFIDs installed for both S-Lex and N-Lex. It also had a Yoshimura pipe. It had the mudguard removed, so it looks more like a sports bike. And you know, all that stuff. Like it had a tail tidy, aftermarket levers, which are green, which I'm not sure I super like, but then it's Kawasaki, and Kawasaki's color is green, so I guess it's okay. And I think the best thing I love about this bike is it's so much more light than the Dominar. Like, I think, again, that one is close to 200 kilograms. This one's like 160. That's like almost 30 to 40 kilogram difference, and it makes a world of change when it comes to handling the bike, when you're bringing it around, when you're doing things like what I'm doing right now. It ain't so hard because the bike is a lot lighter. So far, I think I've had the bike for a good 3 months or 4 months already. And I'm really enjoying the performance. Gets me to places. I feel good when I'm riding it. I actually had the handlebars, the clip-ons changed. The stock handlebars of the Kawasaki Ninja are actually a little bit raised. That's why it's a sports touring motorcycle, because it's a little bit more comfortable than other sports bikes when it comes to the position of your body. Because since they're raised, you're not really leaning forward like this. You're a little bit upright. But I wanted a little bit more lean in there, so what I did was I bought some clip-ons. You can see them right here. And had them changed in the garage in my village. Alpha Customs. So yeah, they're the people I usually ride with when it comes to group rides with big bikes, sports bikes and stuff. I even have a little sticker on my bike. They made me love motorcycles even more. So yeah, shout out to them. You know, practice makes perfect. I'm getting more comfortable with the leans, understanding the bike, you know, treating it like an extension of my own body. And I think that's a good tip. Like, riding a motorcycle isn't just like, you know, moving the handlebars around and going to the direction. There's also leaning, and there's the counter steering, which I won't get into because that's like confusing as heck. But generally, compared to the Dominar, I love this bike so much more. And C5 has some janky roads. Look at that. Kanina pa yan. Daming butas. Oh, it is not fun. Now, I'm probably gonna keep this bike for a couple more years. I'm super happy with it. I haven't pushed it to the maximum. I have not gone to the racetrack yet. The fastest I've ever gone on this, I think, is 130. And that's just like for a second or 2 seconds. Then I got scared and went back down to 100. But this can do so much more. So I'm not in a rush necessarily to get a new bike. But if you were to ask me if I was gonna upgrade, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I mean, if only they still made R6s, right? But you know, they're out of production already, and they're really expensive in the second-hand market because Yamaha made the R7 to replace the R6. Yeah, it's a 700cc bike, bigger engine, displacement, and you'd think it's more powerful. But what the R6 has that the R7 doesn't is the R7 also has a parallel twin engine, just like this one, 2 cylinders, while the R6 has 4 cylinders. So it really is a screamer. And I'm around R6s a lot because of Alpha Customs. They have a bunch of R6s there. A lot of the riders have R6s. So, you know, how can you not want one when you're always around them? So yeah, that was one of the options if I was gonna upgrade. I don't know if it will still be an option because by the time I decide to upgrade, baka super old na talaga yung R6 and they won't be as reliable. So I'm thinking, if I were to go for a Kawasaki, probably I'm thinking ZX6R. That would be cool. That's a 600cc pure sports bike with 4 cylinders by Kawasaki, so it has the really deep handlebars for a good lean. And by the time I probably upgrade to that, I'm thinking I'd probably have saved up for maybe a secondary bike, maybe like a scooter that I'm gonna be using for like errands and stuff. Errands like buying groceries. So you can only do that with a scooter because of the space that it has. You can't do that with a sports bike unless you put a top box on it, which I kind of don't want to do on my sports bikes. And Vespas are like a really good investment because the value doesn't go down too much over time. Sometimes they go up depending on what model you get, especially like the special edition ones, the Waterspoon one or like the Justin Bieber one. Those are cool. I mean, if I'm super successful, then yeah, I'll go for a Ducati for sure. Like a red Ducati. That's its signature color pa. Imagine having a red Ducati. That would be so cool. A Ducati Panigale or something like that. But that's way in the future when I'm a better rider. When I've had a lot of practice. Because I definitely don't want to get a bike that's too powerful for me and then end up regretting it. In fact, I won't be able to regret it if I, you know, like get into an accident and I die. There's no regrets in death, bro. But you know, there's also Suzuki. Suzuki's a good option when it comes to sports bikes. I mean, Suzuki did make the Hayabusa, and that's like one of the most popular sports bikes ever. But I don't want to get a Hayabusa. Even if there are new models for that thing, I'm still scared of that thing. The name just scares me. Suzuki Katana, that one's cool. Like the name's cool too. Like imagine going from a Ninja right now to a Katana. That is sick. The transition, the character development. Parang siyang RPG. First class mo is Ninja, tapos second class mo Samurai bigla. But yeah, those are my options, I guess. Like off the top of my head. I'm not really thinking too hard because I need to focus on the road. You know, if you guys have any suggestions of like possible upgrades years into the future, you guys can drop a comment about it. That would be cool, so I can check them out. I love motorcycles, but I'm not like, you know, die hard that I know every single thing about every single new release of every motorcycle or the performance. And I like riding in the night. I like riding at night. Ooh, that's a sports bike. I want to see it. Let's catch up. I want to see what it is. It's green. Is it a Kawasaki? But I don't recognize the tail lights though. So it might not be. Oh no, he's going right. Shit, hindi ko siya makita. Sad. Not really sure what that one is. Oh, it's another sports bike. Sweet. What are you, good sir? Here it's a Ninja, I think. Ninja rin. He got some white rims on. Those are aftermarket. Why does the taillight look different? I want to see it. I think that's a Ninja. I think. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not an expert. Yung friend ko si Itu, he can see a motorcycle on the road and then he can like totally recognize it kaagad, even from the back. Galing niya. Siya yung dapat kasama ko mag-ride. We were talking about buying motorcycles like a little bit after pandemic ended. But wala eh. He hasn't gotten one yet. It's a 400 too, I think. But yeah, he was thinking about getting a scrambler, I think. Yeah, he was planning to get a scrambler. Hey, what's up, man? What's up, dude? Meron ba? Oh shit, di ko alam yun. Apparently there's a meet. And that's what's cool about the big bike community. Generally, they're super nice to one another. Like, you could just walk up, you could just ride up to someone right next to them and just like give them a fist bump, get a little bit of a conversation in. Super wholesome, dude. Oh, there's a sports bike right there. Ooh, it sounds good. Maybe the event somewhere in that area. Alright, put it in my front pocket, switch gears, and put a little bit of... I'm gonna take that spot. Because big bikes can park. In car parkings. Alright, we're here.